You know the feeling because it sits in the pit of your stomach like a heavy stone. It is the specific, maddening confusion of seeing her name pop up on your story views, noticing her lingering presence on your social media, or hearing from mutual friends that she was asking about you, yet your phone remains dead silent. There is no text, no call, no direct acknowledgement of your existence. This is the paradox of silent surveillance. If she didn't care, she wouldn't watch. True indifference is invisibility. It is the total absence of attention. But she isn't indifferent. She is consuming your life from a safe distance, maintaining a digital tether that keeps her connected to your reality while denying you access to hers. This creates a psychological state of limbo for you, where you are trapped between the memory of her intimacy and the cold reality of her current silence. It is a form of emotional purgatory where you are forced to question everything you thought you knew about the relationship, wondering if you are reading too much into a view, or if that view is a desperate, silent scream she is too proud to vocalize. The emotional weight of this silence is often heavier than an argument. When two people fight, there is energy, there is passion, and there is an exchange of reality. But when she watches you in silence, she is holding all the power because she has access to your life without paying the price of vulnerability. She can see that you got a promotion, she can see you out with friends, she can see the changes in your physical appearance, and she processes all of this data privately. Meanwhile, you are left in the dark, forced to simulate her reactions in your mind. Does she miss me? Is she regretting her decision? Or is she simply checking to make sure you haven't done better than her? This silence is not empty. It is full of unsaid words and unresolved conflict. It triggers the Zeigarnik effect in your brain, a psychological phenomenon where the mind remembers incomplete tasks or unresolved situations far better than completed ones. Because she hasn't closed the door completely, because she is still watching, your brain treats the relationship as an open loop, refusing to let you heal or move on, keeping you in a state of chronic, low-level anxiety. We have to understand that for many women, silence is not an absence of feeling. It is a mechanism of safety. After a separation or a period of distance, the ego becomes a fortress. She may be overwhelmed by curiosity about your life, perhaps even consumed by a longing to reach out, but the fear of rejection or the fear of appearing weak acts as a paralyzed restraint. She watches you because she needs to soothe her own anxiety about the separation. She needs to know that you still exist, that you are still the person she remembers, or perhaps she is subconsciously scanning for signs that you are miserable without her. If she sees you suffering, it validates her importance. If she sees you thriving, it triggers her competitive anxiety. But as long as she stays silent, she maintains the illusion of control. Breaking that silence would mean admitting that she is still invested, that she is still thinking about you, and in the modern dating marketplace, admitting you care is often wrongly equated with losing the game. So, she becomes a spectator in the theater of your life, sitting in the back row where you can't see her, watching the movie of your days unfold, terrified to step onto the screen and change the plot. This behavior strikes at the core of male psychology because men are typically problem solvers. If a man watches something, he usually intends to interact with it. If a man wants something, he pursues it. So when you see her watching but not acting, it creates a cognitive dissonance that is incredibly painful. You start to rationalize her behavior, inventing scenarios where she is just waiting for the right moment, or telling yourself she is just keeping tabs as a friend. But deep down, the emotional resonance suggests something darker. It feels like she is haunting you. You are being orbited by a ghost who refuses to cross over but won't let you rest. This orbiting behavior, where she keeps you in her gravitational pull without ever landing on your planet, is a way for her to keep her options open. It is a low energy investment strategy. By simply viewing a story or liking a post, she invests 1% of her energy to occupy 50% of your mental space. It is a masterful, albeit often subconscious, manipulation of your attention economy. She doesn't have to talk to you to keep you thinking about her. She just has to make sure you know she is there, hovering in the periphery, a constant reminder of what you used to have. The silence is also a reflection of her internal chaos. We often assume that if someone is silent, they are calm, collected, and moved on. But often, the silence is a dam holding back a reservoir of conflicting emotions. She might be watching you and feeling a surge of pride, I don't need him, followed immediately by a crash of regret. He looks happy, did I make a mistake? By staying silent, she protects herself from having to confront these fluctuating emotions with you. If she reached out, she would have to define what she wants, and the truth is, she likely doesn't know. She wants the connection without the responsibility. She wants the familiarity of your face without the complexity of the relationship. So she consumes the digital avatar of you, the version of you that exists in photos and updates, because that version of you is safe. That version doesn't ask her for accountability, it doesn't ask her to apologize, and it doesn't demand a commitment. She is watching you because it is the only way she can have you on her terms, completely stripped of the demands of reality. We must ruthlessly examine the role of ego in this equation because often her silence is not about you at all. It is about the preservation of her own self-image. In the aftermath of a relationship or a shifting dynamic, there is often an unspoken contest regarding who is winning the breakup. This sounds juvenile, but it is a fundamental aspect of human social hierarchy. By watching your stories or checking your status, she is gathering intelligence to see where she stands in comparison to you, but she stays silent because breaking that silence is viewed as a concession of defeat. If she initiates contact, she is handing you leverage. She is admitting that her life without you is lacking something, or that she is thinking about you more than you are thinking about her. This fear of vulnerability is paralyzed by pride. She may be staring at her phone, typing out a message, and then deleting it because the voice in her head says, if he wanted to talk to me, he would. She is projecting her own desire onto you, using her pride as a shield to protect herself from the reality that she misses the connection. She wants the validation of you chasing her because that reinforces her value in the sexual marketplace. Watching you allows her to feel connected to you, but staying silent allows her to maintain the upper hand in her own mind. Beyond pride, there is a profound, paralyzing fear of your indifference. This is the dark underbelly of her surveillance. She watches you to confirm that you are still the same man who desired her, but she stays silent because she is terrified that if she reaches out, you might not respond with the warmth she remembers. The only thing worse than the pain of separation is the pain of realized rejection. Right now, in the silence, she can maintain a fantasy. She can tell herself, he still loves me, he's just stubborn, or he's probably missing me too much to reach out. But the moment she sends that text, she collapses the wave function. She risks facing a reality where you leave her on red, or worse, where you respond politely but without emotion. That indifference is a fate worse than hatred for a woman who once held your heart. Hatred implies passion. Indifference implies she no longer matters. By watching silently, she keeps the potential of us alive in the abstract without risking the humiliating confirmation that us is dead in reality. She is protecting herself from the psychological obliteration of realizing she has been replaced or transcended. You also have to consider the benchmarking phenomenon. Women are naturally hyper-aware of social standing and lifestyle quality due to evolutionary psychology, seeking the best possible provider and protector. When she watches you silently, she is essentially benchmarking her current reality against the potential reality she could have had with you. If she left you for someone else, or if she chose the single life, she is using your social media as a data stream to validate her choice. She is looking for cracks in your armor. She is looking for signs that you are falling apart, that you are lonely, or that your life has downgraded. This is a harsh truth, but it is real. Sometimes she is watching to soothe her own buyer's remorse. If she sees you leveling up, getting fit, making money, traveling, looking unbothered, it creates a dissonance in her mind. She stays silent because she cannot reconcile her decision to leave with the visual evidence that you are a high-value man. Admitting she was wrong is too painful, so she watches in silence, secretly hoping for a slip-up that proves she made the right call. Furthermore, we cannot ignore the dopamine loop that social media platforms are engineered to exploit. Her behavior is not just emotional, it is neurological. Seeing your face, your name, or your lifestyle provides a microdose of dopamine, a hit of familiarity and attachment without the heavy cortisol spike of actual confrontation or relationship maintenance. It is a low-cost, high-reward addiction. She is snacking on your presence. She gets to satisfy her curiosity and quell her separation anxiety instantly by tapping a screen, but she avoids the heavy lifting of communication. It is a one-way mirror. She can see into the interrogation room of your life, observing your movements while she remains safely behind the glass. This creates a false sense of intimacy. She feels like she knows what is going on in your life. Oh, he went to that concert. He got a new car. So she doesn't feel the urgent need to ask you. The digital feed satisfies the surface-level curiosity that usually drives conversation. Paradoxically, the more you post, the less she needs to reach out because you are voluntarily feeding her all the information she craves without demanding a single word in return. You must become fluent in reading her digital body language, because the timing of her silence speaks louder than any text she could send. There is a massive psychological difference between the woman who watches your story 45 seconds after you post it and the woman who watches it 23 hours later, right before it expires. If she is consistently one of the first people to view your updates, do not mistake this for coincidence. Algorithms don't work that way by accident. She has likely interacted with your profile enough for the algorithm to prioritize you, or worse, she has post notifications turned on. This immediate viewing indicates a state of hypervigilance. She is waiting for a window into your life. She is hungry for data. Her silence in this context is almost screaming. She is consuming you instantly because she lacks the discipline to look away, yet she retains the stubbornness to keep her mouth shut. On the other hand, the last-minute viewer is playing a game of psychological warfare. She is likely trying to suppress her curiosity all day, fighting the urge to look, only to cave in at the last moment. Or she is strategically waiting to view it later so she doesn't appear too eager or too available. Both behaviors confirm one undeniable fact. You are occupying significant real estate in her mind, regardless of her silence. Then there is the phenomenon of the tactical like. The moment she breaks her silence, not with words, but with a double tap on a photo, often an old one or a specific story. This is not communication. This is a ping. In the world of radar and sonar, a ping is sent out to see what bounces back. When she likes a post but doesn't text, she is testing the waters with zero risk. She is throwing a breadcrumb to see if you are hungry enough to pick it up. Many men make the fatal mistake of interpreting a like as an invitation to pursue. They see the notification, their heart jumps, and they immediately send a text saying, "Hey, how have you been?" You have just lost the game. You took a low-effort signal and responded with high-effort investment. She didn't want to talk to you. She wanted to see if she still had the power to make you talk to her. By staying silent after her like, you flip the script. You deny her the validation she was seeking. You force her to realize that a passive digital gesture is no longer enough to buy your attention. You are teaching her that access to you requires real effort, not just a thumb tap. We must also address the concept of the celebrity dynamic, which her silence inadvertently creates. By watching you without interacting, she has voluntarily placed herself in the audience while placing you on the stage. Think about the relationship between a celebrity and a fan. The fan knows everything about the celebrity, what they ate, where they traveled, who they are dating, but the celebrity doesn't even know the fan is in the room. This is the dynamic she has chosen. She has demoted herself from partner to subscriber. You need to internalize this shift to regain your personal power. Instead of feeling neglected because she isn't talking to you, you must realize that she is witnessing your evolution from the cheap seats. This is not a tragedy. It is an opportunity. Use her silent gaze as fuel. Knowing she is watching should not make you perform for her. It should motivate you to perform for yourself, knowing that your success is being broadcasted to the one person who doubted you or walked away. Her silence is the applause of a ghost. She is watching you become the man she couldn't keep, and the fact that she can't bring herself to speak is proof that she is intimidated by your growth. The ultimate strategy in dealing with this silent surveillance is the information gap. The reason she keeps watching is that you are giving her just enough information to satisfy her curiosity, but not enough to make her feel secure. However, if you really want to shift the psychology, you must understand the power of disappearing. If she is watching you daily, she has a steady supply of your energy. When you suddenly stop posting, when the screen goes dark, you cut off that supply. You create an information gap. Her brain, which was used to the daily dopamine hit of seeing your face, suddenly goes into withdrawal. The silence that she was using as a weapon is now turned against her. She starts to wonder, did he block me? Did he meet someone? Is he so busy having fun that he forgot to post? This is where her imagination begins to torture her. By removing the digital tether, you force her to confront the reality of the silence she created. If she truly wants to know about your life, she will have to step out of the shadows and ask. And if she doesn't, then you have your answer. She was just watching a TV show, and now that the show is canceled, it is time for you to find a new audience. You must eventually confront the harshest reality of this entire dynamic. You are likely projecting a narrative of hope onto a canvas of indifference. We often mistake observation for connection, believing that because she is looking, she is caring. But in the digital age, observation is cheap. It costs her absolutely nothing to let your story play while she brushes her teeth, or while she waits for an elevator, or while she is lying in bed next to someone else. You are agonizing over the meaning of her view, analyzing the timestamp and dissecting the frequency, while she may be consuming your content with the same emotional detachment she has when watching a commercial. This is the cognitive distortion known as the spotlight effect, where you believe you are the center of her world just because she clicked a button. The truth is, if her watching you was driven by a deep, agonizing love that she couldn't control, that emotion would eventually spill over into action. High levels of emotion are unstable, they demand release. If she has been watching you in silence for months, it is not because she is overwhelmed with love. It is because she is comfortable with the distance. She is not a tortured soul longing for you. She is a curious spectator satisfied with the highlights. This realization leads us to the toxic behavior of performative living. When you know she is watching, you subconsciously start living your life for the camera instead of for yourself. You begin to curate your reality to elicit a specific reaction from her. You post the gym selfie to show her what she's missing. You post the late night drive to show her you're deep. You post the party to show her you're popular. You become the director of a reality show where the only audience member that matters is the one who isn't paying for a ticket. This is a massive leak of your masculine energy. You are outsourcing your validation to a ghost. Every time you check to see if she viewed your story, you are handing over your power. You are telling your subconscious mind, I am not enough until she sees that I am enough. This creates a dependency loop where your mood for the entire day hinges on whether a specific profile picture appears in a list of tiny circles on your phone screen. You are letting a silent woman dictate your emotional state, and that is a dangerous place to be. The ultimate closure you are seeking will not come from her breaking the silence. It comes from you accepting that the silence is the closure. We often hear the phrase, actions speak louder than words, but in this case, inaction screams the truth. Her silence is a sentence. It is a boundary. It is a declaration that while she is interested in your life as content, she is not interested in your life as a participant. You must stop reading between the lines of a page that is blank. There is no hidden message. There is no secret code. If a woman wants to be in your orbit, she will crash into it. If she wants to speak to you, she will find a way, even if she has to crawl over broken glass to do it. The fact that she is content to watch you from behind a screen tells you everything you need to know about her level of investment. She is offering you her eyes, but she is withholding her heart. So, the final step in psychological liberation is to stop being the content creator for her ego. You have two choices. You can continue to feed the beast, giving her free access to your evolution while she sits comfortably in the dark, or you can evict her from the theater. Whether you choose to block her, hide your story from her, or simply stop caring if she watches, the outcome must be the same. You sever the energetic cord. You reclaim your life as your own private experience, not a public performance. When you finally stop checking if she's watching, you will feel a weight lift off your shoulders. You will realize that her gaze was never the sun that warmed you. It was just a cold blue light from a screen. You move forward not because she stopped watching, but because you stopped performing. You are no longer a scene in her movie. You are the protagonist of your own, and in your movie, there is no room for an audience that doesn't clap.